Hello YouTube, hello world. Yeah, I know, it's been a while. I'm sorry. I just had a lot of shit I had to go through and just, you know, also not having the proper motivation and just really not much to talk about. And a lot of that has to do with what I'd like to discuss today, and that's indecisiveness, or rather the psychology behind it and the idea of doing something, regardless of the outcome, what we deem best. Now let's start with indecisiveness, because indecisiveness is kind of a big problem with every human being. You do not have a person in this world that sometimes doesn't run into a situation where they don't know whether or not to do either of any situations or either of any things. And a lot of that has to do with the panic mode. And this is really kind of where first of all, it's my opinion, and this is also really where I want to talk about, and later about choices. Okay, that's the two things I want to talk about: the decisiveness and ability to decide to make a choice, and the outcome thereof. So, first thing, let's start with the problem with being indecisive. Now, to me, and in my experience, it has been that it isn't really the inability to decide, it is rather the panic that lies beneath it, because we feel like we always lose, okay? And yes, that is something that we all deal with, whether we like it or not. Sometimes we have this feeling like, okay, I have to do either of any things, and if I do A, I will fail at B, or, be discredited for not doing B. And if I do B, then the same thing will happen because I haven't done A, or did A, regard depends on what you're applying this to. Excuse me, or applying, should I say. Damn, that monster's coming up. So, the panic is, okay, I have to do something, but I don't know whether or not to do it or what to do. Okay? And that is where our panic mode kicks in. It's our natural flight or fight, okay? Whether we flee a situation or we duke it out. And to me, the biggest problem with being undecisive is I overcome the panic, but I look at the options and that's when I panic. Okay? So basically to me, there's 2 points of panic is oh shit, I have to choose, and oh shit, what if I make the wrong choice? That is to me the problem, and I know it is to a lot of other people, speaking from experience and talking to people about this. Okay? And here's the point where I come to talking about choices. And no, this isn't one of those things like, oh, it's a choice. You know probably what I'm referring to because that's a whole different rant. Oh, this isn't a rant, but I do plan to make a rant on it because it is something that frustrates me deeply. Um, but let's get back to it. Basically, the thing about making a choice is that we do always panic, what if I do the wrong thing? And I think that having the ability to make choices at a young age helps us as humans a lot. People who go through life unworried and unscathed usually do not have to make choices. It is a nice little path that they see straight ahead, and they usually don't do anything that deviates from that path, okay? Because they know that if they deviate, then things are going to get complicated, to where people who have to make a lot of choices in their lives, as in do I do A or B, usually end up with a lot more self assured, being a lot more self assured, and just not fearing the outcome or positive negative outcome of doing or not doing something. And I think it forms us in a way, okay? It really helps us kind of almost decide where the ups and downs are. And you might say, well, you never know how a situation is going to play out. That's true. You never do. Okay? Again, it's part of it. It's all part of the experience and the learning curve. But it almost helps us to kind of calculate possible success or possible damage. Okay? If I do this, I have this much percent of, likeliness of doing it right. to whether I don't, there's this much percent of, being discredited for not doing it properly. And it's something that I really do think is important for us, okay? We really have to learn it from a young age to do it. We have to, if you never had to make a choice in your life, which is unlikely because we all do, but if you never had to make any significant choices, it tells me that you're probably not as able to make choices. I see this a lot around me with people who just, they have mommy and daddy take care of all the problems. Oh, do I hate that. And they just kind of go through and get everything they want and never have to make a compromise. And then when you put them in a situation where basically no one else can decide for them, they panic, they freak, and they freeze completely. So, that is kind of my idea of indecisiveness and choices all rolled up into one. Now, again, I am sorry for not having uploaded recently. I know it's been over a month, and most of you guys have probably already forgotten me. But please, I'm trying to make a comeback and turn this into a regular thing, so I'm gonna have to ask for your help a little bit. Problem being, I would like to know what kind of audience I am talking to. So, if it is within the realm of possibilities for you to just leave a comment and tell me, like, what would you like to see in the future? What would you like to see me make videos about? Do you have any ideas, any questions? I'm not gonna go into detail as to why I didn't upload in a while. There's a lot of things, and it's kind of personal, and it's, touchy subject, if you will. And therefore, I'm not gonna thread into any more detail than necessary, which is basically right here. Okay, no details at all. But yeah, just tell me, you know, what choices should I make for my channel, and what do you guys want to see, so I can kind of make the best compromise for everybody, so everybody gets to see what they'd like to see. And that's kind of it. So I'm gonna end it right here with the usual outro. So stay awesome, stay out of trouble, and keep on rolling.